This is the 2024 Range Rover Sport SE. And in today's Vehicle Visionary video, I'm going to give you the ultimate tour of this particular model. It has an exterior color of Eiger Gray. I hope I pronounced that correctly, but I guarantee you if you didn't, the comment section will light up with people who tell me how you do pronounce it. You also will find an ebony interior, a very well laid out and comfortable interior. And this model definitely has a comfortable ride quality, but still at the same time, you're going to have very good performance. Even though we have the 3-liter engine under the hood, you can step up to the 4.4-liter V8 that makes insane horsepower. This model comes all-wheel drive, and obviously there is a lot going on here to talk about. Let's start with the front end. Don't forget, today I'm at Land Rover of Shreveport. If you want to know more about this model, check out the link in the description of the video. So we're going to have LED headlights, signature daytime running lights. You will find fog lights, and obviously that blinking thing up there is the turn signal. Some of you know about it, some of you don't. Believe it or not, it comes standard on all vehicles. And as far as having the typical Range Rover look here, that is a good thing. The thing I always wonder about, right here, the Range Rover logo. What do you think about that? Should those letters be sunk in? Not necessarily a stick-on type vinyl, but something that's actually sunk into the hood maybe, just for a little bit cleaner look. Other people might say, you know what? I like the way that looks. That's fine with me, and there's nothing wrong with that. Always curious to know what your opinion is. You will have your forward-facing camera here. There are literally cameras all over this vehicle, from front to back. And this model is all-wheel drive. Let's talk a little bit about tire and wheel size. 285 on the width, plenty of tread on the ground that's going to help out with the handling of this model. You will find a 40 series sidewall and wrapped around the optional, notice I said optional, 23-inch wheels. That is what we have in this particular case. Now, one thing, in my personal opinion, I would like to see, even though I like the look of gloss black with these trim pieces that we have here, I think those things should be functional. It just seems that it would fit, maybe be a little more appropriate for their placement. And here is the remote for 2024. No changes where that is concerned, but for those who might want to know, that's what we have. We'll also have the gloss black mirror caps, turn signal indicators built in. I know that's a favorite for a lot of you. You have your heated and power adjustable side view mirrors. And besides people asking a lot about the turn signal indicators being built into the side view mirrors, the other question, are they power folding side view mirrors? Well, obviously they are. And you can see what happens when you hit the button to open the interior. Your door handles are presented to you. Now, if the battery were to die, you do have a key inside of the remote, and there is where you're going to insert that. Not a big deal. You'd come in from this angle. No big deal to get in there. You can still get into your vehicle, no problem. And you do have the button right here. When you have the remote on your person, you can use those buttons on the door handles to gain access, to get everything to open up for you. Now, like I said, a lot of gloss black here. Not really a bad thing because I think it's very well placed as far as what we have. The gloss black on the upper portion of the vehicle here with the roof, everything that we have actually accents the tinted windows back here, makes them look a little darker than they really are. And we're also going to find the rear roof spoiler. While it looks nice, it's also functional. That channels air over this rear window when you're driving down the road. That keeps the window clean. But the good thing about it is not only does it keep it clean, this window has a clean look back here because of what you don't see right here. A rear window wiper. That's because it's tucked away inside of the rear roof spoiler. It is there when you need it. That's a good thing. And the very clean look here as far as the rear goes with the Range Rover logo and the taillights that finish everything off nicely. And here under the hood, motivating this Range Rover Sport to get down the road in this case is the turbocharged 3-liter 6-cylinder. It makes a plentiful 355 horsepower. The torque numbers come in at 365. It's mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. I did pop the cover off here in case you wanted to see underneath that. You can do that very easily. You could just leave it off for that matter if you wanted to. It's just there, but that's good to see because I know a lot of you like to see what's underneath that area. And how about those all-important MPGs? What do you get here? 18 city, 24 highway, 21 combined, and 4.8 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. The gas tank will be over here on the passenger side of the vehicle, and if you're curious to know, it has kind of an old school non-capless fuel fill. So you have just a typical gas cap right there. How much gas will the gas tank actually hold? 23.8 gallons. And when properly equipped, you can tow up to 8,200 pounds. That's not too bad for an SUV of this size. Up to 70.1 cubic feet of cargo capacity, quite a bit where that is concerned. And you can see that this is how you maximize cargo capacity. So just gonna lower those power folding rear seats down, and all I did was use the buttons right here. And for those of you who maybe want a little bit of a closer look at that, here is what we have. So quite a bit going on space-wise. Good thing there where all of that is concerned. There is a spare tire located underneath the floor and all the tools to change that if needed. You do have the cargo cover right here that, by the way, is removable. Obviously, that wouldn't be very helpful to have that just permanently in place because then you could not maximize your cargo capacity if you needed to. And then we also have the cargo lighting, as you can see. Here's a good look too as well from this vantage point at the panoramic sunroof that does slide and tilt open, that front portion at least. And let's take a look at what your rear seat passengers are going to find. When you put your arm up here on the armrest, it is comfortable. At least it seems like that to me, just having my arm up there for just a few seconds. It seems a little hard if you press on it, but when you put your arm up there, not too bad. And obviously, you have the control right here. What does that do? That reclines the seat or brings it back up as far as the seat back goes. So that can be adjusted accordingly. A little bit of space here within the door bin. And for you parents out there, here's a benefit. The latch system right here is not something where you have to remove some kind of a cover or anything like that. Easily accessible and nothing extra to keep up with. That's always good, especially when you have little kids. You have enough to keep up with as it is. And here on the rear of the seats, we'll find the rear seat pockets. And dual zone climate control here in the rear, actually a total of quad zone climate control, 2 in the front, 2 zones in the front, 2 zones here in the rear. And obviously you can control the heated seats back here so you can see what's going on there. Where that is concerned, all I'm doing is pushing right there, and then you can control the temperature as well back here. That's very nice, very easy to deal with. And then if you're curious, here is what the panoramic sunroof view looks like, a view through the panoramic sunroof. There is a power shade that can be drawn forward if needed to close that off. And if you're wondering about additional cup holders and an armrest, yes, you do have that back here. Everything neatly kind of concealed away until you need it. You can push the buttons right there to get everything out in the open to where it can be used. Not a lot of space in this area, but, well, not necessarily a big surprise, but that is additional space. There just isn't a lot of space to work with this fold-down armrest, but still it's there and usable. And for those who are saying, hey, Tom, are those soft close doors? Here's your answer. Yes, they are. Okay, I know some of you have been saying, hey Tom, what is the price on this Range Rover Sport we're looking at in today's video? $95,760. Beyond what I've shown you so far, let's see what else you get for that price. Obviously, the armrest will be the same here as far as being comfortable, but you will notice a little bit of a difference from the rear to the front doors in that you have controls for not only the seat back, but the seat itself overall. Power adjustable seats here, a lot going on there where that's concerned, and you have a pass-through right here that is very useful for a little bit of additional space. And we'll hop on inside here and take a look at what we have with the lower glove box. Plenty of space within, and also the upper glove box as well. Find a little connectivity right there. So quite a bit going on where that's concerned. Always a good thing to have all of that. Your wireless charging pad is here as well. A fairly clean look. There is a lot of gloss black here, so be careful where your fingers go. And here are the cup holders. That area is very convenient, not only for cup storage, but there's space underneath. So additional space right there. And one good thing about that being there is the fact that within the center console, well, it has the refrigerator in this case. For the sticker price on this model, you better have the refrigerated console, right? And you do have two different settings there. I don't have the ignition on right now, so you can't see the blue lights come on, but there are two different settings for that. That has a lot of benefit. And one thing I really like here is how the shifter conveniently fits in the palm of your hand. At least in my case, my hands aren't huge, so they fit very well around, or it fits very well around the shifter. Very convenient. And let's take a quick look here up to our upper console so you can see what all is up there. The control for that shade that I was telling you about for your panoramic sunroof, and obviously the other control is for opening that, the tilt and slide function, along with, well, everything else that you see up here. I know a lot of you like to know what's up there. And one thing, returning to the back seat area, I want to make sure that I don't forget to show you is the connectivity. You can have a light there to kind of illuminate things and make it easier for everybody to find what they need to when you're driving out after dark. And we'll take a look into, well, likely the most important area for those of you watching the video, because you're probably going to be sitting here all the time, the driver's seat. Let's see what you'll find. Obviously, a few additional controls here to what we found on the passenger side. Now, I didn't talk about this over on the passenger side, but you have seat memory on both sides. A couple of different settings here, actually 3 different settings for that. So that's always a good thing. You can see over there on the passenger side, you have the same thing. And we have obviously a tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. It is power adjustable. The control for that is going to be on the right-hand side instead of the left-hand side, as we're often used to seeing. That's going to be it right there. And we'll reach down here and hit our push button start. Now, one thing that I noticed personally with the armrest right here, excuse me, when I went to put my seatbelt on earlier to get the vehicle washed, I found it a little bit harder to get my seatbelt buckled right here with the armrest in the down position. So it just seems to be better to leave in the up position like that. For me, I use the armrest or the center console as my armrest. So a very clean look with the dashboard here, everything easy to deal with, and you can go through and make quite a few changes, look at a lot of information. There's a lot going on here. I'm not going to go through every single little thing. Pretty easy to figure out what's there, but it does have a nice clean look, that's for sure. And the controls for your headlights over there on the left-hand side. And remember those blinking things I talked about earlier, the blinkers? Here's how you control those when you're driving down the road, when you're changing lanes, when you're merging into traffic. There it is. Pretty simple to deal with, believe it or not. And over here is the control for your front and rear window wipers. I can't say anything sarcastic or funny about that the same way I can about the blinker lever over there. And your steering wheel mounted controls, obviously, here as well. And a main area of attraction here is going to be the 13.1-inch screen. This is the Pivi Pro infotainment system. Nothing new here, but definitely very nice, very easy to use. Probably the best we've ever seen in these Range Rover Sports, at least in my personal opinion. You can wirelessly pair your smartphone. There is a lot going on here as far as what you can get to information-wise. If you want to go into settings right here, let's go into settings if Tom can push that. Kind of have to push a little bit harder on that than it might seem sometimes. The good thing here is that you have your home screen. You can come in here You can go to audio, you can go to all if you need to. So there's a lot of information here that you'll want to know about, but the main thing is going to, I think, be right here. You can see what all is here. Driver assistance. Let's talk a little bit about what we have there as far as driver assistance goes. You can see what's there. Your cruise and your limiter, parking assistance, collision avoidance, and current driver assistance mode is in custom, in case you were wondering about what is there. A really simple system to use. I think you can use the hunt and peck method here to do just about anything you need to. That's a good thing. How about safety and security? That's something else that I know people like to know about. You can see what all is here. You can turn things on and off if you want to. Remote unlocking, you can use that. You can turn it on to where it comes on when you approach the vehicle, or if not. And then right there, drive away locking. And if you're wondering what is that, that's just the speed at which the interior locks or the doors lock that you're driving. You can obviously adjust that if you want to. I think I'm going to leave that alone because, well, pretty easy to figure out what to do with that. And one thing you might want to know about, how do you change driving modes? And by the way, that kind of shimmering effect you see going through the screen, that has to do with my camera. It's not actually happening when you're sitting here in the interior. So here's a few more things that we need to look at. Let's take a look at ride height. Here's how you're going to change that. If you want to go to access, there it is. There's normal. You'll feel the vehicle changing height. And then obviously you can go to off-road. And there's a few other things you can do here as well, depending on what you need to do. How about 4x4 info? If you need to know about that, it's going to let you know what's going on with the vehicle. Really pretty convenient to use. You can see the angle obviously there, and then you can see what's going on with the suspension, individual areas. And how about your driving modes? Here's where you're going to go to change the driving modes. And there's a couple of different places you can go to do that, but you can go to auto and let the vehicle select. Obviously you can use comfort, grass, gravel and snow. You can use mud, ruts, or mud and ruts, sand, and wade. And so that's pretty cool to see. Again, there's ride height. And how about wade sensing? If you live in an area where you're dealing with some flooding, or maybe you're driving through some water somewhere and you want to know exactly how high that is, well, it's going to let you know here, and it tells you the max that you're supposed to be able to drive through. This vehicle is very capable off-road, contrary to what some might say. And something that is one of my personal favorite features here has to do with the different views on the vehicle with the cameras. I showed you the front view camera earlier on the exterior of the vehicle on the front end. Obviously, you have your rear views. There are literally cameras everywhere you need to see all over the vehicle. And then if you want to, you can just kind of work your way around the vehicle here as well. So it makes it nice and convenient depending on what's going on around you. If that rude driver next to you pulls in and parks way too close, well, you can make sure you're not going to run into them. Or if you drive too close to them, you can make sure you're not going to run into them. It's okay to laugh, don't worry. And then we also have off-road. So this is going to show you what's in front of you depending on where you're driving. That's convenient not only off-road, but really anywhere you might go. If there's a lot of debris in the road, maybe after a storm or something like that, well, and you need to see what's in front of you, there you go. A very convenient thing to use. And then towing, there you go. You can hitch up to a trailer without anyone having to be there to guide you on to that. And obviously, you have a couple of different options here as well that really cover basically everything the vehicle has. And we can go back in here and just see what's here. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but this is very important. And earlier I didn't mention this, but you have heated and ventilated seats. So that's a good thing to know depending on what you want to do. There's heat. So if you want to go to your heated seats, we're in the ventilated right now. Kind of funny, it says seat heat. Well, guess what? You can also go to the ventilated side of things, or you can go up here to the heated side of things. It is kind of hard to believe that today I can actually use the ventilated seats here in this Range Rover Sport. Here in a couple of days in Northwest Louisiana, we won't need that, believe it or not. Some of you might be surprised that the temperature is going to get down to 13 degrees. We might not know what to do when that happens. But that's what you have ultimately where this is concerned. A very simplistic look here, but I'm curious to know what your thoughts are. While it looks nice and clean, would you rather have some physical controls for the air conditioner and maybe some of the other features? All right, we're going to get out on the road for our test drive. And earlier in the video, I mentioned the fact that you have some really good handling, and that works together with a very comfortable ride quality. And to complement the comfortable ride quality, you're going to have seats that, well, at least in my experience, really fit the contour of my body nicely. Very comfortable, very enjoyable to sit in, and obviously fully adjustable for the driver. You do have quite a bit of adjustability for the passenger as well. And with the fact that these are heated and ventilated, well, that goes even further to making a long road trip very enjoyable. And while this is by no means the most powerful option available as far as what's under the hood, it still gets the job done. When you need to get up to speed, it is absolutely no problem. And in being in a fairly large vehicle, one thing about that is that the speed you're driving can be a little deceptive. You can actually get up and moving a little faster than maybe you mean to, because it just doesn't feel like you're going as fast with a large vehicle, a large interior like this. That makes a difference where all of that is concerned. But obviously you get used to all of that. As far as the controls and the functionality here goes, in my personal opinion, I think it's pretty easy to deal with. I think it's very easy to learn, especially the Pivi Pro infotainment system. I still think that it would be very nice to have some physical controls for the air conditioning. I think a lot of people agree. It might give you a really nice look as far as the clean look goes right here in this area. But I think if I had my preference, I would say give me those physical controls back. What do you think about that? I'm always curious to know. Comfortable steering wheel here. One thing about it is that when you move the steering wheel, yes, you can feel the weight of the vehicle. It does feel a little bit heavy. I don't think that's a big deal for most people because they're not looking for the ultimate driving experience as far as performance goes, I wouldn't say. So I don't know that that's that big of a deal necessarily. It's not meant to be high performance in this particular case, but one way or another, an enjoyable vehicle to drive. Plenty of room for the front seat and the rear seat passengers back there. Obviously, you have the addition of plenty of cargo capacity and a few different options where that's concerned. As far as depending on who's sitting in the rear seat area, you can fold down one side or the other. Just makes things very easy to deal with. And I know a lot of people will say, nobody's going to take these vehicles off-road. Well, there's some people that do out there. What the percentage of owners are that actually do that, I don't know. It probably is fairly low. But here's the thing. With the capabilities of the all-wheel drive system that you have here, it isn't just useful off-road. It's also useful in situations where maybe the roads are wet, slick, ice, snow, all of that. So there's a lot of benefit as far as safety goes, beyond just the safety features that we talked about earlier when we were working our way through the infotainment screen. You also have the safety factor of being able to maintain traction. So quite a bit going on here with this particular vehicle. And you'll notice I've turned some of the lights on here. That flickering effect, same thing I said earlier with the infotainment screen. That's not actually happening in real time. It's just the way it looks through the lens of my camera. So tell me what you think about the 2024 Range Rover Sport SE. Is this something you plan to buy in 2024? If so, tell me how you plan to spec it, what trim level. I'm always curious to know. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends here at Land Rover of Shreveport for loaning me this Range Rover Sport for the day. And a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That helps me out a lot. If you haven't subscribed to the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel just yet, please consider doing so you don't miss any future videos. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.